Lovely, lovely. Mic check 1 2 3. Mic check 1 2 3. Okay, I'll get this. For gosh sakes, I don't know. I need to remember just in Mason or Rochester to not wear shirts like this. Yep, I can hear you. Just gonna do this. Wear jackets.
Recently introduced legislation could help law enforcement agencies hire more employees. I'm KIMT News 3's Jessica Bringy, live with local reaction to the possible legislation.
And temperatures are in the 30s and 40s. We are continuing to track some warmer temperatures, but some snow is in the future. I'll have the details.
Should no-knock warrants be banned in Minnesota? I'm KIMT News 3's Annalise Johnson, live with where two local lawmakers stand on the issue.
KIMT News 3 First at 4 starts right now.
KIMT News 3, coverage you can count on. This is KIMT News 3's First at 4.
Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us for KIMT News 3 First at 4. I'm Amy Fleming. KIMT Storm Team 3 meteorologist Ryan Knapp joins us right off the bat. Ryan, what are you tracking? I know it's definitely mild outside today.
That's for sure. Temperatures are in the upper 30s, some of us even in the 40s. Wow. So we're going to see some of the snow currently on the ground start to kind of melt a little bit. I saw it earlier today when I was out on the roads. But overall, temperatures very mild, very much above average for this time of year. As we take a look outside right now, we are seeing a few clouds, but the thing is, those are starting to move off towards the east a little more. We're looking at temperatures into the middle 30s and even close to 40 degrees winds out of the west and even northwest, anywhere between 10 to 15 miles per hour. Here's those clouds I was just talking about now, still moving across I-90, making their way into Wisconsin. Behind it, though, you look a little closer to Marshall and even Mankato, up towards the Twin Cities. Some more clear skies just in time for the sun to set this evening. Temperatures very mild and warmer compared to where we've been in the last few weeks. 40s west of I-35, some middle 30s the further east you go, but overall a nice relief from what we've seen as of late. Look at all these temperatures across the upper Midwest. We're seeing 50s, 60s across the plains. All that's going to continue to move east here through much of the rest of this evening and into tonight. So we did warm up today. We are well above average. Keeping an eye on Thursday and Friday, though. I'll have all the details about that coming up in just a bit. But now I'm going to turn it over to Storm Team 3 Chief Meteorologist Aaron White, who's talking about how this warming may have impacted our nighttime temperatures.
Hey there, Ryan. Yeah, certainly so. We have what I want to talk about is basically what's happened over the last several decades. In fact, the National Weather Service in La Crosse put this out last week, and they're talking about what we haven't really seen in recent years, and that is the number of days with 20 degrees or colder. And as we look back at some of the recorded weather data, it really shows that we have not seen many mornings with temperatures colder than 20 below zero. Back in the 60s and 70s, there were 91 days when temperatures were colder than minus 20. In the 80s and 90s, it was about 51. And in the past 2 decades, well, we've only seen about 13 mornings where temperatures have been 20 degrees or colder. And Storm Team 3 meteorologist Sean McAday spoke with Jeff Boyne with the National Weather Service in La Crosse talking about this.
For one thing, as you continue to warm and stuff like that, there's a little bit more water vapor in the atmosphere. More water vapor prevents you from cooling as fast during the nights. And that's where you tend to see your biggest drops at night on a dry, very dry, clear night. You're going to drop fairly cold. Mm-hmm. So we're seeing less of those nights taking place by adding more water vapor to the atmosphere.
In other news today, helping to attract candidates to a career in law enforcement is the goal behind legislation making its way through the Minnesota Senate. KIMT News 3's Jessica Bringy spoke with Rochester Police about their recruitment efforts and what challenges the department is facing. Jessica?
Amy, the Rochester Police Department is currently actively hiring officers, but there's been a definite drop in interest given the current cultural climate. I'm told that nearly 20 years ago there would be 300 to 400 applicants for open positions, but that has since dwindled down to barely enough to cover the 6 to 8 open positions that are up for grabs beginning in June. Currently, a Minnesota Senate committee is proposing a $1 million appropriation this year for marketing and advertising efforts. The campaign would focus on advertising the value and need for being a peace officer and what a rewarding career it could be. The Rochester Police Department says any help and support in recruiting and retaining officers is appreciated.
Obviously, any legislative support would be welcome. And I think that would be, it's good to see that they're looking at trying to be part of that solution and trying to find ways to kind of help police departments and communities with hiring and retaining police officers.
Now, there has already been some pushback against this bill, with those against it questioning the effectiveness of it, as well as saying that the money could be better spent elsewhere. Live in Rochester, Jessica Bringy, KIMT News 3.
Thanks, Jessica. RPD did recently hire 6 officers, but the department says there's been a number of retirements, and that's adding to the officer deficit. A trial is scheduled for the man involved in a New Year's Day gunfire in rural Olmsted County. 63-year-old Paul Reichel of Elgin pleaded not guilty today to 6 counts of second-degree assault with a dangerous weapon and 2 counts of a drive-by shooting. The Olmsted County Sheriff's Office says 3 people were out hunting pheasants on January 1st in the 31,000 block of County Road 67 when a woman yelled at the group and began swearing at them to leave. Investigators say the group returned a short time later. A man in a truck sped past them and blocked the road. Court documents state the man, Reichel, fired several shots and chased after the 3 pheasant hunters as they tried to get away. Reichel allegedly confessed to shooting at the hunters during an interview with law enforcement. He is now scheduled to stand trial beginning June 27th. Authorities arrest Amir Locke's cousin in Winona in connection with the homicide investigation that led police to the apartment where a SWAT team officer fatally shot Locke. Prosecutors have charged Makey Speed with 2 counts of second-degree murder in connection with the January 10th killing of Otis Elder. The death of Locke, who was black, has sparked protests and prompted an immediate re-examination of no-knock arrest warrants, with Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey last week announcing a moratorium while the city brings in outside experts to study its policy. After the death of Amir Locke last week, when police shot and killed him during the execution of a no-knock warrant in Minneapolis, some people are calling for a ban on no-knock warrants, including activism groups and even some lawmakers. KIMT News 3's Annalise Johnson is speaking to one of our local legislators, and she joins us live. Annalise.
Amy, I'm here outside of Rochester's North Police Station. According to Cornell Law School, a no-knock warrant is a type of search warrant that allows police to enter a place without, as the name suggests, knocking or announcing their presence. They're used when it's believed that announcing their presence would lead to the destruction of evidence or to compromise police safety. Here's a look at protests that have happened over the past week in Minneapolis following Amir Locke's death. Demonstrators have been calling for changes in Minneapolis city leadership and for a ban on no-knock warrants statewide. I spoke to State Representative Liz Bolden, who is in favor of banning the practice. She tells me a bill was in the works to do so last year, but it didn't make it far enough. She is eager to take this issue up again in the House.
Clearly, in this case, it was, led to a tragedy. I'll go back to everyone should be safe in their own home, and I don't see a reason for that level of violence. The need to be used. There are other opportunities. There are other options to get done the work that needs to be done outside of using no-knock warrants.
Governor Walz said Friday that he would support the review of the use of no-knock warrants statewide if the legislature passed it. Live in Rochester, Annalise Johnson, KIMT News 3.
Thanks, Annalise. We also reached out to Republican Minnesota State Senator Carla Nelson. She gave us the following statement in part: while there are many questions, I am also cautious about taking legitimate tools away from police in dangerous situations. We need to think this through and not make a knee-jerk reaction. Public safety is serious business. We must have safeguards or protections in place for both police and the public, and then ensure those safeguards are followed. A major shift is coming to Peloton's power structure. Still to come, how your next ride could be impacted. And an area group helps vets gain a new experience. Later in the newscast, KIMT News 3's Alex Jurgens will tell us about the impact of their work.
And the nominees are, I'm Danya Backus with the top Oscar nods and who is making history.
KIMT News 3, first at 4. Your local news with KIMT News 3's Amy Fleming and Katie Lang. Tracking storms with Storm Team 3 Chief Meteorologist Aaron White. This is KIMT News 3. More local news that is happening right now. We are coverage you can count on.
Jane Campion's The Power of the Dog leads this year's Academy Awards nominations with 12, followed by the sci-fi epic Dune, which received 10 nominations. Danya Backus breaks it down for us from Los Angeles.
The Power of the Dog made a powerful impact on Academy members. The Netflix Western leads the pack with 12 nominations, including Best Picture, Best Director, and 4 acting nods, including Best Actor for Benedict Cumberbatch. He will go up against two-time winner Denzel Washington for The Tragedy of Macbeth and Will Smith in King Richard. Javier Bardem from Being the Ricardos and Andrew Garfield from Tick, Tick, Boom round out the category. As one of the producers of King Richard, Smith is also up for a Best Picture nomination. The other films in the category: Belfast, Coda, Don't Look Up, Drive My Car, Dune, Licorice Pizza, Nightmare Alley, and West Side Story. The Power of the Dog's Jane Campion becomes the first woman to be nominated twice for Best Director. She lost in 1994 to Steven Spielberg for Schindler's List. He's also nominated again, this time for West Side Story.
Mommy.
Among the surprises, Kristen Stewart nabbed a Best Actress nomination for her role as Princess Diana in Spencer, beating out House of Gucci's Lady Gaga. Stewart will face Jessica Chastain for The Eyes of Tammy Faye, Olivia Colman for The Lost Daughter, Penelope Cruz in Parallel Mothers, and Nicole Kidman for her role as Lucille Ball in Being the Ricardos. And Beyonce picks up her first Oscar nomination for her original song Be Alive from King Richard. Danya Backus, CBS News, Hollywood.
The 94th Academy Awards will be held on March 27th.
A majority of congressional Democrats say they want to extend the child tax credit. I'm Skylar Henry on Capitol Hill with more on the potential roadblock standing in lawmakers' way and how the Biden administration is pushing Americans to file their taxes to receive those benefits.
And even though temperatures are warmer right now, we're looking ahead to potentially some snow as well heading through the rest of this week. I'll have some details coming up.
We track storms to alert you first. This is KIMT Storm Team 3, weather coverage you can count on.
KIMT Storm Team 3 meteorologist Ryan Knapp joins us now. Ryan, what are you tracking?
Well, aside from temperatures nearing 40 degrees right now, I think everyone can kind of cheer about that, unless you're a fan of the cold and a fan of the snow.
Yeah.
Besides that, some more milder temperatures today. They're going to stick around through tomorrow morning, but the thing is, tomorrow's high will continue to drop through the day. So we'll see our high early in the morning. Temperatures continue to drop through the day. We'll talk about that moving forward here. But right now, we're taking a look at Storm Track 3 radar and even the satellite picture. We have this nice stretch of dry air trying to make its way into this larger low pressure system moving through Manitoba. Could give us a chance for some clear skies here just before the sun sets. But I think it's just moving a little bit too slow for us to be able to see some more clear skies for the rest of this evening. Other thing is clouds continue to move off towards the Great Lakes, but you look north and there's even some snowflakes and even maybe a few rain showers as well, just because temperatures are above that 32-degree mark. This is all going to continue to move south here through tonight, giving us the opportunity for a few passing snowflakes. But besides that, the blue skies are slowly starting to make their way on in, seeing a bit more sun than what we saw through the day as we take a live look over downtown Rochester. Temperatures right now into the mid-30s. Some of us even seeing temperatures close to 40 degrees. Some clouds are out there and we have no alerts to talk about at this time. So overall, a very mild day, very relaxing day as well, considering the fact that we have seen temperatures far warmer than what we have seen over the last few days, if not the last couple months. Overall, temperatures continue to stay into those mid to lower 30s through much of the evening. Winds still out of the west. They start to pick up a little bit more by tonight, and that's just because we are tracking that front moving in, allowing for us to see a little bit more of a shift to out of the northwest. So you could see some more breezier conditions, I guess you could say, later on into this evening. But other than that, we will stay mild. Temperatures back into the low 30s. Winds out of the west around 14 miles per hour. Roughly going to see a range between about 10 to 15. Flurry chance is there just because we are seeing some colder air moving in over a warmer surface, allowing for us to maybe see a little bit of some snowflakes reaching the ground later on tonight as those snowflakes and even some of those rain showers start to move south. But once that rain starts to mix in with some colder temperatures overall, it'll start to turn into a little bit more of a snow orientation. Overall, Sky Tracker 3 stays quiet. We do have the chance for, like I said, a few of those passing flurries through tonight as more clouds build in behind that kind of clear slot we're looking at right now just to the north of us. And that kind of stays this way through much of the day tomorrow as we see those kind of spotty or snow shower chances through the early morning hours, if not even into the late morning to early afternoon hours as well. But the big thing for at least tomorrow will be the fact that we will see the cloud coverage continue through the day. Plus, we'll see the return of northwesterly winds. So as a result, we're going to see our highs again early tomorrow morning. So even though the 7-day forecast says 30s for tomorrow, those will hit early in the morning, and we'll continue to see temperatures back into probably the upper 20s by the afternoon, if not back into the low 20s by the early evening. After that, it's just really clouds on clouds until we start to talk about our next potential system that moves in later on for Thursday evening into Friday morning. So here's where things get interesting. Very big difference here, and you can see where that temperature gradient is because we got rain stretching into Fargo, Aberdeen, Minot, into the Dakotas. You move a little further east, we got snow and even some mixed precipitation stretching down from about International Falls just south of the Twin Cities. So depending on which side of the system we end up on, we could be either looking at some snow or even some rain, and then behind that, some colder air as well. But this is just one model run. We still have a few more days to go with this system, continuing to track it moving forward here. Here's a look at your 7-day forecast, though, where the weekend's always in view, so enjoy temperatures again. Like I said, more mild here over the next few days. Snow chances do pick up through about Friday, but then after that, we get back down into those single digits by Saturday as we're tracking another Arctic blast.
Hopefully it's short-lived.
Hopefully.
It looks like it. All right, thanks, Ryan. The White House kicked off a day of action to call on all eligible Americans to file their taxes in order to receive the child tax credit, as well as the earned income tax credit for 2021. The monthly benefit has already expired, and now some lawmakers and family groups are demanding its renewal. Skylar Henry has more from Capitol Hill.
We are on a path to cut child poverty in America by 40%.
Vice President Kamala Harris touted the success of the child tax credit and urged eligible Americans to file their income taxes to get the benefit's full amount.
We want you to get those credits. Working families deserve a break.
The child tax credit was a part of last year's American Rescue Plan pandemic relief law, and it included 6 months of payments per child for those under age 17.
The monthly child tax credit checks have made an enormous positive difference in the lives of moms, children, and family across the country.
Kristen Rao-Finkbeiner of the group Moms Rising says families who've used the tax credit to help pay for things like food, rent, and child care are now facing a crisis after it expired last month.
We absolutely need the child tax credit to continue so parents can go to work, so children can thrive, so people can earn living wages and move our country forward, and also address the rising costs.
Tuesday, a group of House and Senate Democrats said they wanted to pass an extension of the child tax credit with a simple majority using a process called reconciliation. But that would require the support of all 50 Senate Democrats, and West Virginia's Joe Manchin has voiced opposition, saying it should include a work requirement.
My argument with Senator Manchin is give us a chance to let this work. Let's see how it works over the next year. It's worked well over the last 6 months.
The House passed an extension of the tax credit as part of the president's Build Back Better Act, but the bill stalled in the Senate. Skylar Henry, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
The IRS is telling all Americans to file as soon as possible, preferably electronically this year, so that tax refunds can be received in a timely fashion. The agency also says those who received a child tax credit letter with incorrect information can get the right information from the irs.gov website before filing. Peloton is shaking up its corporate structure. The fitness company is replacing embattled CEO John Foley effective today. Barry McCarthy, the former chief financial officer of Spotify and Netflix, is taking over. Foley will stay on as executive chair. Peloton is also laying off about 2,800 corporate employees and reducing the number of warehouses it owns and operates. The on-camera instructors and content won't be impacted, though, by these changes. These initiatives indicate Peloton is planning to stay independent after reports that Apple, Amazon, and Nike were exploring bids to buy the company. Your groceries have likely gotten a lot more expensive this year. What a major Wall Street bank is saying about where prices are headed in 2022.
Bets are coming in ahead of this weekend's Super Bowl. I'm Elise Preston with a look at why this year's big game is expected to break records.
The Super Bowl is just days away, and while the Rams and Bengals are hard at work preparing, so are many football fans, as record numbers are expected to place legal bets on the big game. Elise Preston has the latest from East Rutherford, New Jersey.
When the Bengals and Rams take the field on Super Bowl Sunday in LA, a record 31.4 million Americans are expected to have money on the line, more than $7.6 billion.
Makes it more interesting, a little more action, you know.
The majority of bets will be legal now that sports wagering is open for business in 30 states and Washington, D.C. Companies like DraftKings and FanDuel make it simple for fans to open accounts and place bets right on their phones. Bill Miller from the American Gaming Association says legal sports gambling protects fans and the integrity of the games.
Where we're really seeing the growth is among bettors who used to bet through illegal options that are now migrating to the legal marketplace.
Most wagers are online, but fans can also place bets in casino-style locations where they can watch multiple games at a time.
Any given football Sunday, it's not unusual for us to take over 10,000 bets and do north of several $1 million in handle just for one Sunday alone.
But experts say betting online has advantages.
If you do your sports betting via digital, it's easier to track what you spend. It's easier for you as a consumer to better understand whether you're sticking to your budget.
So who are fans betting to win? Research at the American Gaming Association shows 55% of wagers are going to the Rams and 45% to the Bengals. On Sunday, everyone will know who scores big. Elise Preston, CBS News, East Rutherford, New Jersey.
While millions will be placing their bets Sunday, fans of the Rams and Bengals watching at home will not have that option. Sports betting is illegal in California, and Ohio's program hasn't launched just yet. You know, all that extra money you've been spending at the grocery store lately, prepare to drop even more. Economists at Goldman Sachs say they think food prices at grocery stores will go up 5 to 6% this year. That's after they jumped 6.5% in December from the previous year. The Wall Street Bank says food commodity prices are already up 6% this year. And rising prices for things like fertilizer are going to make things worse. It's all helped contribute to the highest overall rate of inflation the U.S. has seen in 39 years.
And coming up here after the break with warmer temperatures, we're going to be hitting the ice to explain the dangers of going on the ice in warmer conditions. All the details next.
I'm here. I had to flip the... All right, I'm here. I got to turn this around to make sure I'm not stepping into the sunlight. All right, is that better? That's fine, it's been one of those days. Everybody's running.
KIMT Storm Team 3 meteorologist Ryan Knapp joins us now. Ryan, I know the ice has been melting a lot lately. It's tough to skate. You know, you're a hockey player.
Yeah, especially considering when we have temperatures in the upper 30s and low 40s, it can make it to be a little slushy out there. Plus, I know we're in that time of the year where everyone wants to be on the ice, whether it's ice fishing, snowmobiling, whatever the case may be. Today, not so much that day, as temperatures are sitting into the mid to upper 30s across the area. Some of us even into the 40s further out west, which begs the question, how is the ice right now? Well, when we add in these warmer temperatures, we can start to see just a little bit of a decrease in the overall thickness of some of these smaller sheets that we typically use for recreation. So just a brief reminder, of course, 2 inches or less, stay off the ice. It's just way too thin for then. By the time you get into the 4, 5, and 6 range, you start to get into that ice fishing range, which is safe enough. Snowmobilings and ATVs are also around that 5 to 6 range. Once you get into the 8 to 12, then you really start to get into those larger vehicles. But with the warmer temperatures, we've actually been seeing some reports of the overall lower in the thickness of the ice. So definitely before you go out there, make sure you're measuring, making sure that is a suitable overall density for really any recreational activity out there. Coming up in just a bit, we're going to check another look at your forecast as we are tracking again warmer temperatures and some snow chances in just a bit.
Thanks, Ryan. Well, that nice weather did make for a perfect backdrop to grab a pole and go ice fishing on Clear Lake. KIMT News 3's Alex Jurgens took to the ice at McIntosh Point earlier today, where an Iowa-based group is helping veterans get into a potential new hobby and make some friends. He joins us now live. Alex.
Well, Amy, according to my Storm Team 3 app, it says it's 39 degrees here on the west side of Clear Lake. So, yes, much warmer than what we've been dealing with lately. And the ice is still thick enough out here on the west side of Clear Lake to provide for some great ice fishing conditions. Angling for Arley, which is a group based right here in Iowa, is providing veterans with a new experience, catching crappie, perch, walleye, and white and yellow bass right here on Clear Lake ice. Gary Logan helped make this possible and is in his third year connecting veterans with ice fishing. As someone with service member experience in his family, he feels that fishing can help serve as not only a unifier for fellow veterans, but also a sort of therapy.
Especially when it comes to the veterans, you know, a lot of those guys have hidden secrets. You know, they deal with things that most of us don't understand. You know, so if we can pick out a bunch of guys and one guy out of that has a case of PTSD and we can get him out here and give him another outlet that helps him deal with that PTSD, I feel like at the end of the day we've done our job.
Now the group is set to have a fish fry here later this evening because, you know, you can't just beat fried fish, ladies and gentlemen. And they'll also be back out here on the ice tomorrow as well. Live in Clear Lake, Alex Jurgens, KIMT News 3.
Sounds fun, and now I'm hungry for fish. Thanks, Alex. Logan hopes to grow the event in future years.